Hello, Nigerian youth. Welcome to today's edition of
Hello.
the African Youth of the Nigeria Youth Conference, the National Youth Conference Nigeria 2021, on the theme, the Nigerian Youth and 2023. 2023 is going to mark a special time in the history of Nigeria. It is special in the sense that it provides an opportunity for the Nigerian youth to do and take certain actions, to make certain changes, to enable them control the run of events in the country. It has become necessary that the youth of Nigeria, which is at the political level of youth, people from the ages of 18 and 45 years, should rise up now and take over the running of this country. Otherwise, as many people have already identified, we may lose the country. Our keynote speaker yesterday, Mr. Amos Elaigu Adiku from Benue State, clearly said that if we do not take action now, we are going to lose this country. And I believe him. Someone no less a person as Dr. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, who ran as a vice presidential candidate of PDP in the last election, 2019, also have clearly called on the youth to rise up now and kick out these people who have no skill for managing even their own lives, not to talk of managing the economy of a big country like Nigeria. Demographically, Nigerian youth, meaning people from the age of 18 to 45, make more than 60% of the population of Nigeria, and also more than 60% of the registered voters in the voters register. One wonders then now, why is it that the youth has no place in governance? This is 21st century. We are going away from that century, and people who have no connection with even the 19th century and 20th century in their brain are ruling and ruining the country. So this is the time for the youth. We have the pleasure to invite to the rostrum today to address the National Youth Conference Nigeria 2021, Mr. Obokam from Cross River State, Nigeria. Mr. Obokam is an entrepreneur, a man who started creating himself from cradle, doing all he can from immediately after secondary school to take care of himself through university and to business and family. He's a good example of a striving and forward-looking youth of Nigeria of today. So it is my pleasure and privilege to invite Obokam to the rostrum. Welcome to the conference.
Thank you very much, sir. Glad to be with you again. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. It is now a privilege to have you address this conference. After your address, you field questions from me, and if there are questions from viewers, we also take them. Mr. Obokam.
Okay, thank you very much. My dear fellow Nigerian youth, it's a wonderful privilege to be with you at this national conference, where we come to the round table to speak our minds, to look at problems and profile solutions to this problem, which will help direct the course of our lives, the lives of our children, and even our children yet unborn. At this conference, we have the singular privilege of diagnosing the critical problem which affects our society and affects also the country at large. For us Nigerian youth, it is quite very, very special and very, very important to us for us to discuss matters that affect us and even affect our well-being, both economically and otherwise. As we have observed over the years, over the last few years, we have seen the level of governance. And the question I would love to ask, are you satisfied with the level of governance that you have seen so far? Do you think the government of the day has been able to fulfill the election promises that was made some 6 years ago? Do you think the government has been honest with us as Nigerians? Do you think the government has made every effort in their power to be able to fulfill those electoral promises? Now, make no mistake, no government can actually do all. But can we say that this government has made concerted effort in fulfilling their electoral promises that they made some years back? If the answer is yes, then it means we are on the right path. But if the answer is no, it means it is time for us to critically review how we actively participate in electing our leaders and electing people to actually govern us. Now, we have also seen how that has also played out, even in the security area. We have time and time again, we have watched the security apparatus of this nation failed us. We have seen the rise of banditry. We have seen the rise of farmers and herders clashes. We have seen even the rise and increase of the Boko Haram activities in the northeast. Make no mistake, or do not forget, when this government came into power 6 years ago, one of the promises that they made to us Nigerians was that in 6 months' time, they were going to defeat Boko Haram, and that Boko Haram was going to be the thing of the past. But the question is, has that been the case? Of course, in the affirmative, the answer is no. They have not been able to fulfill their promises. But rather, what we have rather seen, we have witnessed situations where more areas have been taken custody of by the insurgents. We have also seen an increase in banditry activities. Just of recent, we have witnessed in the last 6 weeks where we have seen how banditries have kidnapped school children. We had the first case, one of the cases, we have had the case in Kankara. We have also had another case or recently somewhere, I think in Niger State. We have had in Kaduna State. And the question is, how did banditry get to this school to the point they are able to kidnap over 100 and something students without being cut off by the security agencies? Let us be honest with ourselves. Kidnapping of school children has now become a means of business. There is no way we can sugarcoat these issues again. So the truth must be told. So we have seen that banditry and kidnapping of school children has now become a means of business. We have even seen situations where some, even though that we should regard as national leaders, have called for government to negotiate with terrorists, to negotiate with bandits who are kidnapping, bandits, women. And we have seen people who are calling for government to negotiate and even compensate them. That is, we are asking that people are calling for government to glorify the activity of banditries and compensate them with taxpayers' money by telling them, "Oh, well done for kidnapping school children." Now, imagine a government who does that. What a president will the government be setting? Definitely, the government will be inviting more people to join in that business. So these are things that we need to completely speak against, work out modalities of how we can elect leaders who can think towards the right direction. Please make no mistake, we are not saying that if the youth come into government that they will be better off than the current crop of leader we have. For me, it's not really about age. It's about the mindset. It's about the willingness of leaders to deliver on policies. It's about leaders who have integrity. It's about leaders who will be honest with their word. It's about leaders who will make promises that they know they cannot fulfill. It's about leaders who will not just seek power because they want to get to government. But it's about leaders who want to come to government to deliver and to improve the life of every average Nigerian and create opportunities where people can be able to fulfill their dreams. We are not asking leaders to create employment or to employ everybody, but what we are asking leaders to create an enabling environment where youth like me and you can strive and do our businesses. We are asking for government to create an environment where we have good access routes. We're asking for leaders who can ensure that there is an increased power supply where small businesses can grow. We're asking for leaders who will be visionary enough to know that they can create storage facilities in the market where those of us who are involved in farming activity can be able to farm, harvest a product and store them and resell them and then make profit for them and also in turn pay tax to the government. We are asking for leaders who will be willing to tell us the truth. We are asking for leaders who will not be so interested in playing party politics, but we are asking for leaders who will be willing to deliver on good governance. And equally, we're also asking for leaders who will pay particular attention to quality education. That's what we are asking for. Because no nation, no developed nation can develop without a quality education. So we are asking for leaders that will give greater priority to education because it has been said, if there is quality education, then citizens will be able to create wealth. And when citizens can create wealth, the economic priorities of that nation will improve. And when that improves, there is economic power. And when there is economic power, then the nation will to decide and chart its own course. That is what we're asking for. Leaders that will see they need to invest in education, both from the primary down to the tertiary level. We're asking for leaders who will not just give lip service to education because it doesn't really concern them. What they really do is that most of their children do not school in Nigeria, so they have no much interest in improving the education sector. So we are for leaders that will not just give lip service, but for leaders that will be honest and genuine in the promises they make in helping improve our educational sector. We are asking for leaders who will be concerned to know that every single rural area in this country deserves to have a working health facility center, well equipped with good staff available to attend to health issues of local need. We are asking for leaders who will see the need or who realize that it is important that there is portable and clean drinking water in our rural areas. We are asking for leaders who realize that there is a need for them to invest in agriculture in order for us to become self-sufficient when it comes to food, to manufacturing of food. We are asking for leaders who will be genuine in bringing national issues with clear and plain interest. We are asking for leaders who will see the need to realize that it is time for us to bring our national issues to the table. We are asking for leaders who realize that it is time for us to take away to take away power from the federal government and decentralize power to make it work. We're asking for leaders who see the need to know that there is time we have restructuring in this country. That's what we're asking for. I'm sure that's not too much. We're also asking for leaders that will see the need for them to rejig the security system we have in this country. We're asking for leaders that will see the need whereby citizens can be respected by security agencies without being intimidated, without being harassed, and without being robbed of their own hard-earned money. We're asking for leaders who enable and ensure that our wealth will be protected and will be safeguarded, that we can work freely without being intimidated, without being harassed. That's what we're asking for. We're also asking for leaders that will see the need to set an example in deed, in thought, and in action. These are the things that we must consider going forward, or as we look towards 2023. We need to become actively involved. Let's not just be passive. And in becoming actively involved, one of the first thing and first step that we must start with is that one, if you don't have a national identity card, please enroll. when government finally open the register for new voter registration, if you're not yet registered, please register. If you have failed to register in the last voter registration exercise, please make sure you seize this opportunity to register yourself and prepare yourself. That is the first step. So we cannot just speak about having or playing a part in changing the government or electing leaders that will be conscious enough without having a voters card. So first and foremost, you must have a voters card. You must. I mean, it is a must that you must be registered. So whenever the Independent National Electoral Commission open the registration portal or the registration unit in which you find yourself, please go and register and get yourself actively involved in grassroots politics where possible. So that is the first step. So we must become conscientized and we must become well informed. Let's stop sitting on the sideline. Let's get actively involved in the issue of governance of the day. Governance is very important, but governance can better be improved if you and me contribute our quota in helping educate even our young ones, our siblings, and even while we speak about these things, may we also do it knowing that we are also tolerant with others. Everybody mustn't have the same view with us. Of course, we may have different disagreement, but as much as we are less in a conversation, we will definitely get to a middle point where everybody will agree that this is what will work for us and this is what we need to do. So it is important that we get ourselves actively involved in these issues rather than pay lip service to them. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity that you have given to me to speak to you on this national conference.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obokam. It is always a pleasure for me to take these restrooms with you because I know the stuff you are made of. I know how your mind works concerning what is good for the country. Thank you. As you spoke, a number of thoughts passed through my mind, and I would like you to share some of your own position in some of these things. You mentioned the need for
Okay,
the
sir.
youth to the need for the youth to participate actively in politics. Last year, when we had the African Youth Conference, this thought read up, but we didn't give it a chance for it to be fully debated because of the time it came up. So what is your opinion? There are two schools of thought. One says Nigerian youth should en masse register heavily and become card-carrying members of the two political parties so that they can from within influence the changes that is needed starting from the political party structure. And the main proponents for this position are of the thought that demographically the youth are said to be 60% of the registered voters of Nigeria, which means checking those who are actively ready for politics, the youth are larger than all the other demographics, the much older people and maybe the much younger people. Given that case, think about what the first school of thought is thinking. They are thinking we should all move in mass, register in the two most important political parties, bigger political parties in Nigeria, take over their structures and make the change from within. Now, another school of thought believes that these political party structures are corrupt, so corrupt that the youth will not be able to break through them, that it would be best that the youth should form their own political party and that they should in mass be involved in that new political party they will form. Now, given the expectations, the hope that 2023 has, which is when the Buhari Presidency will be out of the stage, willingly, because that's the constitutional period, which school of thought do you buy in and why? Do you share your thoughts on that with us?
Okay. Well, this is a very a very important issue that calls for serious deliberation. Well, I am of the opinion that yes, Nigerian youth who make about 60% of the voters to register and be voter carrying members. That is important.
Yeah, card carrying
That's
members of the political
I
parties.
completely agree. Yeah, yeah, agree with that. Very, very important. Now, on the second thought, should Nigerian youth register with already existing political party, or should they organize a new political party? Well, it is important for us to note that I'm quite convinced that if a large percentage of Nigerian youth register under any political party, whether be it PDP or APC, and they are able to harmonize their interests, they are able to have a structure within the political party. They can actually run on that same political platform. Very, very possible. Let's take, for instance, the case of the immediate past president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. If you follow the antecedent of Donald J. Trump, you will know that Donald J. Trump was actually a Democrat from the foregoing. But when he realized that he was not going to get a platform to run on the Democrat Party, or their ideas were not in tandem with his, back to the Republican Party. And when he became a member of the GOP, at some point it appeared as though they were not going to give him the ticket or the platform to run. He threatened and he gave them a reason, said that if I'm not going to give him a platform to run, I am going to leave and form another political party. And when the Republican Party looked at the fact that this man had the capacity, it wasn't about finance, but he had the capacity because he had the followers. They knew that they needed to actually back with him, and they gave him that platform. So for me, if the youth are able to harness the potential, they can actually form a structure under any political party, and such political party will have no choice than to align with their goal or with their manifesto and their vision. So for me, it doesn't really matter whether it is APC or it is PDP or it is ABGA or whichever party it is. If a large percentage of the youth should register under any political party and are cohesive enough, they can actually run under any political party and still make waves. So that's my school of thought.
Okay, that is very interesting. And as you have put that forward, we're expecting that throughout the duration of this conference, we are going to have a number of other thoughts, and we'll keep exploring them. And behind the purpose of this conference is to help this mind of the youth to come out, so that, according to the principle of agreeing to disagree, which James Amos is sharing with us here, maybe I don't agree with going to join the existing political parties. I may be of the mind of forming another one. But as we talk and advance reasons and the purposes, the importance of each idea, it will help the youth to come to a point. That is the purpose of this conference. Thank you for sharing your views on that part. And yes, you have additional thoughts. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. Now let me say something. Now let me tell you why I agree with the school of thoughts that the youth should massively be card members of the already existing political party. Now we need to screen. Let us screen our society, and we need to consider the level of education of our population. Now, we do have a population that is highly educated, that can be quick to decipher or to understand that the party does not really matter, but what really matters is the candidate. We have not gotten there yet. Looking at our at the level of the level of education within our population. Now, if you go down to our rural areas, you realize that most of our rural people have been so used to a particular political party. So when it is time for elections, they are not really interested to know who the candidate is. All they know is that, oh, for the last 10 years, for 15 years, we have been voting for PDP or for APC. So all they do is they go there, all they're looking for is the umbrella sign, or they're looking for the broom sign to vote. So we need to also consider the level of our the level of education within a large majority of our population. How we get informed decision? How many of them really have access to internet? How many of them really have access to jingles? How many of them really have access to social media? How many of them have access to the National Orientation Agency messages to know about the new political party and how they can actually get themselves aligned with? So these are some key factors that we need to consider. That sometimes we need to reach out to them. So one of the ways we can do that now is that we can actually use the already existing platform and drive our goal. And then maybe in the future, then we can think about probably breaking away or making that change. But so we need so I think sometimes this thing could actually get to emotion. So we need to be very, very careful. So I think we need to consider our population. We need to consider the level of education. If we had if majority of our population was, let's say, if close to about 80% or even about 70% of our population were educated and had access to social media, had access to TV and to radio, then it would be easy. It would be easier to drive a new frontier. But because these things are limited, so driving that new frontier will take time. It will take us some time. So I am of the thoughts that we should use the already from.
Okay. Okay. Those are very important points that you have made there, and I think it's in tandem with a school of thought. Our hope is that as this conference advances, these things will be more organized and we have more people standing on both sides. And the intention of the organizers of this conference is to have a thinking line that pushes the young people to take action, which is what they have not been doing. Okay. Mr. Bokam, our keynote speaker yesterday, Mr. Amos, was worried that the youth, even the political youth, which ought to be the most conscious part of every population, 18 to 45 years of age, they are supposed to be the most conscious part or demographic in any population in any nation or in the world. They are not, he said, they are docile at present when it comes to politics. They are not actively involved in politics. Now, in your own talk, you have also mentioned that they need to be involved. Will you please help us with some ideas you think will push the young people out of their seats where they are slumbering, probably busy on social media and doing nothing very useful? Even using social media for the purpose. Do you remember sometime last year, the Professor Woleshenka said that social media is a powerful technology that the young people can use for questions, for arguments, for thinking, and for planning, especially on how to remove the old people who are ruining the countries of Africa. So what do you think that can be done right now to help the rising generation, the youth of Africa, Nigeria in particular, for this conference, to get out of their seats and think politically and take political actions, including becoming card-carrying members of political parties, voter card-carrying citizens of the country. What can we do to that effect?
Yeah, what can we do? Already, this conference afford us the platform to. So I think this conference is one of the two of driving that awareness. So I really want to thank you again for organizing this national youth conference. So this national youth conference is an opportunity to continue to drive that agenda of getting the youth actively engaged and involved in politics and in governance. So, in addition to what this conference is doing, just like I couldn't agree more with Professor Ika, that yes, that social media is actually a very powerful platform. We keep on using social media to do that. At every single opportunity we have, let's engage. Let's get our friends, youth like us, actively engaged in this discourse. So I think it's not something that's going to be spontaneous, but you know, it's a continuous and it's a gradual process. So let me use the word persuasion. Let us continue being persuasive on our youth. Well, I wouldn't think that that the youth we had 3 years ago or 4 years ago we have now. The youth have become more. They have become more articulate. They have become. There is an increase in awareness of what is happening today than what it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So that interest has been aroused. So every day on social media, we are seeing this discourse. We are seeing youth who are getting more involved. We are seeing even our youth who are celebrities. They're also getting themselves involved. Before now, we had very few celebrity youth who talk about politics. But today, more of them are getting involved. More of them are getting involved. So I think it's a continuous process. We need to conduct to be persuasive on that part. This national conference is affording us the opportunity of doing that. So, and I think we can also do is that in our own local domain, let's also encourage our friends. Let's encourage our youth to also get themselves actively involved in their locality. So I think that process is ongoing. Yes, I would agree with the speaker of yesterday that there have been that docile attitude. Yes, it has been there, but what I'm saying is that there has also been an increased awareness. So I think it's a continuous process. So we need to continue and stay focused on that part. We need to be resilient. Let's not give up. So when you plant a seed today, it doesn't grow immediately. So it goes through a process of growth. So I think we are undergoing through that process of growth. So we have planted the seed already. So let's continue to nourish it with constant nourishment. Let's nourish it with constant discourse. Let's nourish it with critical thinking. Let's nourish it the practical skills. Let's nourish it with honesty and integrity, and then we'll see it grow.
Okay, great. That is very pointedly, very direct to the point, and I have additional comments along with a question at some point from Amos, Justice Amos. He has said that your example of Donald Trump is prevalent in a sane society, not like ours. The more youth engage themselves in these corrupt parties, it's like putting a new wine in an old bottle. And without being prejudicial against your own position, many young people are in politics right now. but I am looking out to see the difference they are making. I can't see. But what I have seen about some of them is that they could, maybe they are just a councillor or just a commissioner in a state. Before long, they are building shopping malls. What kind of salary gave them those shopping malls? And these are people in their 30s and so on. They are still within the political youth. But anyway, you say your say. I have no prejudice in my mind on that subject, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
How do you react to this position? Like, is it not, if they go join the existing political parties, is it not like putting a new wine in an old bottle?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Amos, thank you for for your thoughts. Uh, Now, I'm not saying that that it is a must that the youth must join the already existing political platform. But what I'm saying is that I think the youth stand a better chance. That's not to say that if a new frontier comes up, that goal cannot be, or that or the said goal cannot be achieved. Yes, it can be achieved. So well, we cannot put all our eggs in one basket. So we have options. The center point about everything here is how we can change for a better future. That is the main goal here. So it's not a must that they must build or use the political platform. But what I'm saying is that, in my opinion, it is a good platform. Remember that most of these political parties have been in existence for a long period of time. So unless we will agree that we'll start building that new frontier now, without probably expecting to get any elective political position immediately. So yes, if we must get a new frontier, that means it needs to be a long-term goal. So that awareness must be created. So that awareness must be created. That grassroots activity must be done. Going back to work with the locals, that means real concerted effort actually needs to be put in place. That dedication, that time, and resources must also be dedicated to it. So I'm not saying that it's a must, but what we are saying is that whatever works for us, we can go for it. So it's not about, we don't need to put all our egg in one basket. We may have different opinion. Of course, just like we may have approaches to policies. So imagine having youth who have a desire to change the country for a better. Some are in the old political party, some are in a new frontier, approaching it from two different angles, but all driving towards a particular direction. So we can actually achieve the same goal from two different directions.
Okay, I think you made a good point there, and there's a point you made earlier I would like to raise in support of your own position. It is that these political parties have been entrenched so much so that at the present time, when our people go out during elections, they are just going for the political parties. They are not even going for people. In other words, if the youth want to go the route of going it alone, setting up their own political parties, then they need to do what you recommended, which is simply start, don't expect anything in the meantime, but be prepared for a long haul, during which the results of getting yourself entrenched and connected to the system might now take place. And I think that is a very wise position, something to use to emphasize the position that you took on this matter. Okay, there's another vexing issue that Amos has raised, and to me it is serious. and it clearly some form of impediment against the plan to go into the existing political parties. His question is, how many young people can afford these parties' nomination forms without the corrupt men sponsoring them? And this is dangerous, I must tell you, and seriously serious. So what's your position on it? When you finish, I will say something without prejudice to that position. I'll say something about it, but let me hear your position.
Yes, I know that. I think not the political party nomination forms are not even that expensive. I think the most expensive part of the nomination form is that from INEC. I know that to purchase a presidential form from INEC, you need to pay close to about I think about 20 about between 23 to 25 million naira for the office of president. I think for that of the governor, I think almost the same as the president. I think around 15 million naira or thereabout. So I think the political party nomination form are not really that expensive. What is actually expensive is the candidature form from INEC. But make no mistake.
Did you check that well?
Whichever way
That seems to be the political parties that are charging that amount, not INEC. Though I don't know what INEC charges for forms if they do, but I know that the political parties, before they give someone their ticket, I think for the president they are looking for 25 million. And I don't know what they charge for governor. I know that I think to even go to the state house, someone pays as much as 500,000 just to go to the state house. And this is not the money he will be spending on the party structure before they will bring him forward. So I don't know. I think it is the political parties that actually charges that huge amount of money, not INEC. Viewers, if it is INEC,
okay.
Yes. Let me ask viewers to help us. If you know whether these huge amount of nomination forms are charged by parties or by INEC, we would like to have your opinion. Please share your opinion on who charges these huge nomination forms, which Amos considers that the young people may not be able to afford. We would like to have your comment on this. But Mr. Bokan, please go ahead with the remaining thoughts.
Now, concerning the amount, whether it is being charged by the political party or by INEC, understand? My main concern is that, make no mistake, if you look at the event of the NSAS last year, we can see that Nigerian youth were able to take care of themselves. Nigerian youth financed that protest, from food to medical to sound and other logistics, and they did this through crowdfunding, through their personal donation. That same approach can also be taken for us to sponsor youth that we feel want to run for political position. That same approach can be taken. After all, in civilized societies that we copy from, most of the persons who run for political office are being sponsored by the electors themselves. All we need is youth who will be willing to show full integrity, that will be transparent in their financial dealings with those who are supporting them. So I am quite convinced that the youth themselves can actually sponsor such youth who is vying for a political position by funding it. That is very possible.
Okay, that is good to know. Thank you very much for your position on this. I'd like to let you know that the position you have taken has its principles, have facts that back it. These are just positions, and like Amos said at the beginning, we agree to disagree, and that is the essence of tolerance as key. And that is even why we are at this conference, so that we can all share opinion. I also have a view, my own opinion, without prejudice to Amos' position. The thinking is if the youth should go into a political party and become the dominant force there, then they can begin to cause a change within the internal policies of that party. It may not happen in the first election, but maybe by the second or third elections, the youth may have entrenched themselves enough in those. And this is personal thinking. I don't know that it can happen that way, but then that's a point that can be used to advance the fact, or at least the position, requiring that the young people can fully take over a political party by going en masse to join either a political party or even both. With 60% population of Nigeria being youth, 60% of registered voters being youth, it means that 60% of politically conscious people in Nigeria are also youth. And even if this number should move and divide itself into two and infiltrate the two major political parties, then it will be a matter of time. They can influence what is happening in these parties. They can begin to make internal changes, make the parties more democratic. And I think part of why we have problems in our democracy in this country is because the political parties are very undemocratic. And if we can make the political parties democratic, like you said, like the Americans we are copying, you find out that their democracy starts from the political party. And the political parties are guarding democracy with all their power. Therefore, they do not force any candidate on top of the political machinery. You have to emerge yourself with your own effort in galvanizing support from the different peoples in the area. So one blessing that the youth can bring into these political parties, if they take it over, in my opinion, is that they can cause internal democracy to begin to work within the political parties. Okay, so Mr. Bukan, do you have a final thought for us at this conference today as we wrap up this session with you, which has been very beautiful?
Yes, yeah. My thoughts here is that you cannot change an evil man by staying far away from him. For you to change an evil man, you need to get close to that evil man to know the root cause of his problem and then solve the problem from the root cause. Now, problems must not be solved from the top. You must solve it from the base. From the base. So we need to get close to these political parties so we can see the root cause problem of these political parties and see how we can bring about internal changes that will come from the roots, not changes that will just come from the surface. So that's why we need to get inside. We must get inside to be able to see the problem inside and then change it. Just like you said, that our political parties are not democratic in the first nature. So we need to make them to become democratic. And the only way we can get them to become democratic is that we need to get involved and get inside of it.
Very powerful point there, Mr. Opoka, very powerful point there. Before you finished, Amos sent in another contribution which helps us kind of understand where the expensive fees are coming from. He says, it's like WAEC fee, the board has an equal fixed price for all schools, but each school's payment varies. So I think INEC has no such bogus amount, but the parties. That's why APC and APGA they pay different fees. So, and I think this is a pointer that if the different political parties are paying a different amount of money for their nomination form, then it must not be INEC. It must be the political parties that are doing those. And that is my thought from origin, that it is the political parties that were charging those amounts. I remember during Adams Oshomole's chairmanship of APC, some conspiracy theories came out that says he said he must charge high fees because that is his only chance. When those people get into power, they won't give him anything. So he must get all that he needs from them. I don't know if he ever said that, but those conspiracy theories were on social media and the other media during that period. But the point here, though, is that because the nomination fees vary, it will probably not be the INEC that charges those huge fees, but the political parties. But be that as it may, my position is that the young people, if they take over a political party, become the dominant population inside it. I know that money speaks louder than physical bodies, but over time, they can be a cause of influence for democracy, internal democracy in the political parties, and possibly policy changes. That's my position on this thing. So, well, Mr. Morgan, thank you very much for being with us on the program today. It has been a pleasure for me to host you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to always be here to speak with you on very sensitive and national issues.
Okay, thank you. And remember to stand by throughout the conference. The conference will remain on until the end, the 22nd of April. Remember that we need you to view the proceedings of the conference, because at the end of the day, we will all come together and synthesize what we think are the main points of the conference, which will form way forward for the youth of Nigeria. So please stay nearby, be prepared to speak again at this conference, and also be prepared to make contributions through comments and questions, which has helped us to make this conversation very lively today. We appreciate every bit of the sacrifice that it costs you to be here. These sacrifices are needed to build
the country.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I think maybe in closing, yeah, I think in closing, I just got something. I think what I got here is that I think it says the ruling All Progressive Congress APC party in 2019, when they released their primary election, they said that their presidential aspirants were to pay 45 million naira for nomination form, while that of the PDP was fixed for 12 million naira. I think that is. I think we also have where it says interest form was for 5 million naira. So I think, yeah, so I think it is very, very bogus. But that being said, the point is to understand the same experiment that we saw at the NSAS the youth can also use that same experiment to sponsor their candidates in these political parties.
Yes, that's a good point there, and that's something that I also think is possible if we operate from inside, trying to use the existing structures. The other part that is recommended for the youth to go it all alone has its merit also, because now if we're able to do the fight, the sacrifice, and spend the time required to get to where we want, it will produce something more democratic and more pure. But all the same, There are many roads leads to Rome, and all the two parts can even be taken simultaneously with intent to achieve the main purpose. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, my friend, for being here. Sir. You have a great day now.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.